everybody. I'm Víctor Herrera Calvo. I'm a music composer. I mainly work on film soundtracks, film music, TV spots, trailer music, and video game soundtracks. And in this short video, because I would like it to be short, I'm going to show you how I usually write for strings, especially when we are in emotional context, emotional romantic kind of music. Like, for example, let's think of soundtracks like Legends of the Fall by James Horner. That style of music, okay? That kind of cinematic, romantic, emotional music. So we want soft, mellow, and super emotional music. And that means we are going to use legato in strings if we are focusing on strings. Okay. We are going to keep it pretty simple, okay? Because we just want to give some tips and tricks. And this video also is thought mainly for beginners. So if you are an experienced composer already, you are probably not going to find anything interesting here. But if you are just starting out with orchestral music or just with a DAW or sample libraries, anything, maybe it's interesting for you. So let's go with it. So first thing I usually do when I start composing something, especially if I have a bit of time for it, is creating a piano sketch. So what's a piano sketch? Okay, I will show you here what's inside of that passages. We have here kind of structure with the main melody, harmony, and if the piece were longer, not just a few bars, you would also find some transitions, some structure, just defining the way the piece is going to work as a whole. So here in the piano sketch, you basically just want to have the main ideas you got for this piece, especially melody, harmony, and structure. And of course, any detail you might find interesting to add, because maybe you forget when you go back to work on the piece, okay? So everything that you find important can be added to the piano sketch. In this case, we have clearly a melody here, okay? And we have some accompaniment that, okay, in my case, I come from a piano background, classical piano background, so I tend to arpeggiate everything. But that's why I record it as secondary, let's call it that way, piano sketch, basically just showing you the harmony. As I said, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm not going to complicate the harmony because that's not the point of this video. But basically we are in E minor, and we are going to play E minor, A minor, but in the second inversion, E minor again, C major, D major, B minor, and I think we repeat it exactly the same. Maybe we change something in the end, but it's super simple structure, okay? Super simple harmony, sorry. So basically we have these things, and I'm going to play just the piano sketch so you can see what's the idea. I just try to keep it simple and find something that might be interesting for recording with strings. So let's listen to this so you can check how it sounds. Okay, so that's the idea. Actually, we didn't even change the end. We could add more interesting things there, but that's not the point, as I said, so let's go. Let's go on. So basically now what we are going to talk about, libraries, sample libraries. What did I use for this? What am I going to use? Sorry for my English. I'm going to use three libraries mainly. Just Vista by Performance Samples, which is a full contact library. I think you need the full version of contact. The company is Performance Samples, and this is kind of, theoretically it's small section of strings, but it doesn't sound small at all. Then you have Appassionata strings by Spitfire Audio. This uses the Spitfire Audio engine. It's free when you purchase the library. And then the third one is going to be the Cinematic Studio strings. And I'm going to use the latest version. They released the update 1.7, I think it is. And this library is beautiful also. And I just discovered that these three libraries together, playing at the same time the same melody, the same line, which is called layering, they all sound amazing when we layer each other. Mainly because they react same way to the MIDI CC. MIDI CC are expression, modulation, are different MIDI parameters that we can record with a CC controller, a fader controller like this one, which I think it's pretty important to have one of them when writing for orchestra, and strings especially, because it allows you to achieve much better performance than you can with the mouse if you start editing things. And this kind of things are much natural and musical. You can achieve better musical results using this kind of things. So these three libraries react pretty similarly to the same programming of the CCs, and that means much more beautiful sound. So, okay, wait, where we have this, had another idea up first. So I'm going just to record the melody in the violins, for example. I like the violins for the melody here, but you need to be aware that in strings section, when you write for strings, you can basically write the melody for any of the instruments, okay? You don't need to write them for the violins, even when most of people write the melody for the violins in 90% of the situations. Actually, I'm going to write it for violins here. You can give the melody to the cello or to the violas or even to the double basses, okay? So even when violins might be the most popular instrument in strings for the melody, you can write melody for any of them. Another interesting point when writing for strings is basically that you need to keep it interesting. What I mean you need to write something that is interesting for each of the instruments. You don't want to play same note constantly for all of them all the time. They are going to get bored. Not just the musicians, but it's going to be bored to listen to. You want it to be interesting, and if you change, you create a kind of counterpoint melody for each of the instruments, this is going to usually be much better result than if you just play like pads or ensemble strings. So it's nice to write for each of the instruments. One different line, I mean. So let's go back to the piano roll, piano sketch, and I'm going just to record the second violins with the melody. That's the first thing we are going to do. So let's see. Okay, I just failed. Even if it's simple, I failed. So this is what I recorded in violin, and as you see, these are the CCs. This is modulation, which is kind of dynamics, and this is the expression, which is a kind of volume. So both together give you really nice results, and this is just the strength of each of the notes. Okay, so okay, I think we should record there, and this is G. I'll say let's go. Okay, so I think this is yes. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to tweak here because I don't. This happened because I just failed there, but I want this to be more smoother. So let's tweak this here. Let's see. That's fine. I'm not too annoyed with it. That's okay. So let's record now the basses, okay? So what I'm going to do here is just let's put the second violins that we just recorded as reference, and let's record the basses now. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Just this is not pretty interesting, but it's fine because it's the root. It's just, yes, like the base is where everything else is going to be built. So we need to keep this pretty more simple than the other parts, than the other lines. And I think that's enough. Another thing that is important is the voicing, or how the voices just follow its note. Like you write here, you don't want big jumps. So here, for example, we just have a third, major third, I think, yeah. And as you see, there are super close notes. You don't want to play something like, like. So that's why we usually need to find inversions and things that make us, that allow us to just write closer notes for each of the instruments. Okay, so, okay, I'm going just to write now the melody for the cello. So let's go with the cello. Let's go. This might be a bit exaggerated and we don't need as much movement, but it's just to show you the idea, like I need to write something interesting for the telly. So now let's go and write something for the violas that needs to be in the middle of the violins and the cello, so maybe we have a little problem there, but we will see. We will see how we solve it. Let's go. Let's go with the violas. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't like it. Let's try something different. Not the best of the things, but it's fine. I think we had a mistake around here. Yeah, that one. Okay, so let's listen. Let's see to all the things together. And for example, the violins, I think we are going just to put this one octave higher, so we don't have problems with the voices, with the violas just getting into the violins range. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's better here. So basically now what we are going to do is doubling the second violins with the first ones, but one octave higher. No, sorry, not one octave higher, because we don't want it to be like I can't play it. We don't want it to be super high all the time. But the second phrase here, yes, we want this to be this high, because this is in the range of the violins still. It's pretty high, but they can play it comfortably. And this is going to give an extra emotion to the second part of the melody. Okay, so this is how this sounds right now. Okay, so we have that. So finally, what we are going to do is basically layering these strings with the other two libraries I told you. And you will see how this sounds all together. They are just playing the same thing, okay? I copied paste, and this is the result of the three together. Vista. So I just hope you found it interesting, useful, and not too boring, I hope. And I hope this gave you some tips and tricks of how you can write music for strings in this kind of passages, this style of music. So I hope you find it interesting again, and see you in the next one. Bye.